Hello once again and welcome to my channel. Yeah, sorry, I'm hungry and I'm having some prunes and fruit in a second. Okay, so hello everyone and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Chinyere of juliettsstyleglam. If this is your first time on my channel, you are most welcome. And if you're already subscribed to my channel, of course, you are awesomely welcome as well. Now, for this video, we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of us as individuals we struggle with. And I struggle with it, and I'm still struggling with it, you know. And I think we all need, you know, to know this as individuals and as people, you know. Mind you, there are so many ways to go about this, but this for me is my own. These are my 2 cents, okay, if I must say. And now, secondly, I'm doing this video because actually, originally, I'd always planned that I was going to have, you know, a talk, you know, a video about, you know, talking about, you know, life and different things. So, and then I realized that I've only put up 2 videos ever since then. And, you know, so, and I'm beginning to miss it, okay. So, yeah, we'll be seeing more of this kind of videos on my channel. Now, the title of this video, or what we're going to be talking about today, is how to be a beautiful person. Now, mind you, being beautiful actually, you know, depends on, I'm not talking about physical beauty, because, you know, you could be all beautiful and on the inside you're horrible, as in you're messed up, you know. That's a totally different. I'm talking about being able to be beautiful because, yeah, it's said that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, but then there are certain attributes, there are certain things that we do as individuals that eventually help us, and then people see beyond what they see in the physical and they say, oh, you're such a beautiful person. I know someone like that. I follow her. She's a blogger. I know someone who's like that. She's a blogger. Her name is Fashionably Idu, and I never met her. That's the truth. I knew her way before she started her blog, and from the kind of aura she had around her, you know, I could easily tell you. I said, oh, she's such a beautiful person. Now, this is before she started her blog. And the moment she started her blog, I just jumped on and I started following her immediately, you know. So I'm talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about, you know, those kind of things that, you know, help or, you know, push people towards you. Of course, mind you, everyone must not like you, but I'm sure a lot of people will be able to say, you know, or speak about different qualities about, you know, you as an individual. Now, let me start it this way, okay? So, yes, it's all about being a beautiful person. Now, while I was growing up, you know, I was lucky to have, you know, parents who always, you know, pushed us and said, you can do this, you know, I believe in you. Of course, we're always punished when we did wrong, of course, you know, and I was that lucky. And I also realized that, you know, it boosted my confidence as a person, my self-confidence, you know, and doing things, you know, as a human being. Over the course of time, you know, I realized that, and I found out that so many people, you know, didn't actually have these attributes that I'm talking about, and a lot, especially self-confidence. And in the course of my MBA year, I had that question a lot. How did you become so self-confident? And I was like, wow, because it just grew into me without actually realizing that there were actually people who were, you know, involved or who made it happen, you know. And I also realized that also sometimes in being self-confident, you also forget that there are people who are actually timid, and, you know, you begin to, you know, more or less begin to act not like a bully, but you forget that, you know, there are people that are actually important also, not just you. Okay, and it's also very easy for you to be, you know, taken in by it all. So in the course of my growing up years and over time, I began to realize all those things. Now something happened to me. For discretionary purposes, I'm not going to disclose a lot of things, where or the names, I won't. But something happened to me sometime this year. And it actually bordered down on, I've never heard someone tell me before that they don't like me. And I've never heard someone say to me that they don't like who I am or where I'm from. I mean, I'm a Nigerian. We gather, you know, we own the place. And for a fraction of a second, my confidence and my self-confidence as a person took a downturn. And I began to realize and reflect on a lot of things. Mind you, the problem was not with me. That right now for sure I know. Because over time, I began to hear other stories. I began to hear, and this time around, it was the same people that were told that came to meet me. I began to hear other stories about how, you know, I was this kind of person, how I was that kind of a person, how I was this. Mind you, this person, let me call her Miss A. Now, this Miss A, we've never met, and she doesn't know who I am. Never. And so, and likewise every other person, you know, around me. So over time, they began to tell me things like, can you imagine what this girl said about you? It's crazy. And the funny thing was that as she began to speak, actually people began to realize or see these as her insecurities, not, you know, mine. You know, and then the last question, I remember one very, you know, very striking question. And the person asked, what did you do to her? And I was like, I don't know, nothing, you know. So I realized that, you know, as human beings or as individuals, we always tend to forget. And that we also will always come across people in life who are going to hate you or dislike you no matter what, no matter how nice or how you try, you know, to be nice to them. So I'm going to talk to you about how to be a beautiful person, because I realized over the course of time that, you know, a lot of people identified with me and my mannerisms and my character, not essentially because I'm the best person or not essentially because we are the best people, you know, but because of certain attributes that I carry along. And I'd love to share these with you guys, okay? That's not to say that all of you are going to like me either, but I think, you know, over the course of time, you know, you get to see people for really, really who they are when you go beyond the mask, okay? So I then decided to title this video, you know, how to be a beautiful person. Now, the first thing I would always say, the first thing I would always tell people is be humble. In my last video, I'm going to put the link somewhere in this video, I talked about how to face difficult situations and difficult times despite, you know, whatever I'm going through, and still come out looking fabulous. And being humble was one of them. And I'm going to put the link in this video to watch that video as well. Humility, I will stress on it so many times. When we look at children, children are the best examples of what humility embodies. Humility is the most beautiful characteristic you can have as a human being. It draws people to you. It doesn't take people away from you. It draws people to you. It draws kindness to you. It draws opportunities to you. It draws good people to you. That is what humility does. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to stress it. It draws help. I mean, you could be down and out. Humility will bring help to you. Okay? That is what being humble does. The second one is smile. always, 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 always have a smile on your face. It could be really bad. It could be horrible. It could be the end of the world in your mind, in your head. You think that. But give a smile. A smile solves, it takes it all away. It's also one of the attributes I talked about in the last video, in the video I did also. And I said, like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description box. Now, this is something that I'm not sure if a lot of people know. And it's about making sacrifices. Yes, making sacrifices. A lot of us, believe in so many things. I believe in God. I'm a very strong Christian. I believe in God. And as a Christian, one of the sacrifices that I do and I make is to fast. Now, another form of sacrifice I make is to give out to those who are in need. And when I'm talking about giving out, it's a sacrifice. When I'm talking about being able to give out to those in need, I'm talking about something, it's not something you don't need anymore. Something that is dear to you. You're depriving yourself of something that is close to your heart, that is dear to your heart. It's hard. But you would not believe what the amount of blessing, the amount of doors that will open towards you, for you, just by carrying out this sacrifice. I'm going to give you an example. There was this time, I remember I wanted to travel, okay? But I knew that if I made that trip, I was going to have a little bit of, I was going to be financially, down after making the trip. But then the trip was not for me. The trip was for the person I was going to see, because she was very sick. And I was in between, okay, why don't I just call, and tell this person that, I can make it, because I was just thinking about the money, and the stress it was going to take me up, I was going to go through. But then something just said go, because, she really needs you. And this was, I was going to Switzerland at the time. So I, I did all I could do, took the cheapest flight, everything booked in time, and I went to Switzerland. And while I was there, I knew I was going to spend more money. And of course, I was at her side, I was talking to her, trying to get her through, through whatever it was she was going through, because it was really hard for her. And eventually, after about 2 weeks, I left. And you guys believe, I was in my head, I was like, hey, I am broke. There is no money. What do I do? And, in the course of that week, I got a call, from my bank. I was like, why? I mean, am I owing that much already? And then I got a call from my bank. And guess what? The bank said, madam, they call me Madam Ewelike. Madam Ewelike, hello. I was like, hello. And they were like, oh, that they were going to be reimbursing my account to the tune of some zeros. Okay, I'm not going to say. To the tune of some zeros. That there was, that my insurance paid off. And I was like, what insurance? And they're like, oh, that I took an insurance on so thing, and the insurance has eventually paid off. And I was like, but I thought insurance was supposed to be in the course of, eventuality. And they were like, yeah, but then that there was a program that I was adhered to at the time. So yes, that the insurance actually, awarded me such an amount of money, because there was the program, and I was amongst those who actually were to be given some money. I was like, seriously? And I was like, okay, thank you. And that was, that. And so many other things. Sometimes also when I fast, when I'm praying for something, I mean, fasting is not, it's not about the food. It's the sacrifice of being without, not just food, something you love. I love chocolates. As in, when I go to the store, I know every chocolate by name and how it tastes. So I love chocolates. I love biscuits as well. But then my fasting period, and I always go for the chocolates that are more expensive. But during this period of time, when I am fasting, I do not go, the chocolates are calling to me, and they're like, buy, take. And I'm like, no. And, you know, in areas like this, just because I'm looking for something, I want something so badly, you know, I always get it. So making sacrifices is a wonderful way to be able to be a beautiful person. Okay? Now, another thing also is being able to admit that you're wrong. When you tell someone, when you say, oh, that this thing I did is wrong, you know, I shouldn't have spoken to this person this way. I shouldn't have talked to that person that way. You know, my husband tells me something all the time. He says things like that: be very watchful how you speak to people, and be very watchful how you address people, because most times you don't know how it's coming off. It could be that, you know, the way you speak, the person doesn't forget it, even the words you say, but you may have forgotten. So these are also part of it. How do you make mistakes in such a way? How do you avoid making? You can't avoid making mistakes. We're human, okay? But then admitting that we're wrong, admitting and saying, oh, I'm sorry for the way I spoke with you to you that day, or I'm sorry I yelled at you. You know, I was really upset. It helps, and it actually, you know, calms the other person down, or calms the people around you down. You know, some of us have a hard time with saying I'm sorry. I'm one of those people, but it's something I've learned, and especially with being married, you know, and even with my son, you know, it's something I've learned, you know, because you know, in African culture, it's very hard for parents to come and tell you sorry. It's very difficult, you know, so it's not something you learn, you know, while growing up. But I personally, I decided to learn that as a person, you know. Like, for example, there was this day I promised my son, and I told him we're going to go for a Christmas, we're going to go to the Christmas market, and it was organized by the school. At the time he came back, I was having a headache, I was really down, you know, I wasn't really feeling, you know, that great. And then, you know, he was all ready, and he was like, okay, mom, let's go. Oops. And I was like, oh, mom, let's go, you know. And then I was like, oh my God, you know, and we just postponed it. And he was like, no, he wants to go. Excuse me. And, you know, I now sat him down for a bit, and I was like, listen, mom is having a headache, blah, 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 blah. And I noticed he was actually upset. So after about 5 minutes, I went back to him, and I was like, Boo Boo, because I call him Boo Boo when I really want to beg him. And I was like, Boo Boo. I was like, yes, mom. I was like, I'm sorry. You know, I'm really, really sorry. You know, and he was like, and he looked at me and was like, are you sure you're sorry? Because, you know, sometimes you just tell me sorry to let me get off your back, you know. And I was like, yes, no, this time around, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm going to make it up to you. And so, yes, I did. The next day, you know, we went out, and you know, I got him whatever he wanted, and we went to the Christmas market, we looked around, you know, and stuff like that. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, so about being such a beautiful person. Now, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to cut it really short, because it's really, I mean, so many things to being a beautiful person. There's so many, okay? Now, another one is having or learning how to forgive and taking the high road. Yes. Forgiveness. A lot of people have this misconception that forgiveness is for the other person. No, sweethearts, forgiveness is for you. The more you forgive, the more you'll be blessed. Let me tell you something. If somebody hurts you, or you think that somebody hurts you, and you open your heart and like, I forgive you all the same. And when I'm talking about forgiveness, I'm talking about genuine forgiveness. I'm not saying forget, because if you forget and you jump into the same pit twice, sorry, you're being stupid. But I'm talking about forgiveness from the bottom of your heart. It's not for the other person. It is for you. Forgiveness will lead you to your next breakthrough. And this, my dears, is the gospel truth. Some of us are even so petty. I'm one of them. Some of us are so petty, but seriously, while talking about that, you know, in the beginning when I was talking about that Miss A, it was the same thing. You won't believe it. Anytime I see her, I'm always like, oh, how are you? Give her a kiss, a hug. Oh, why not? You could stop by my house for lunch. Something. It kills the person inside, but then you are the one who is flourishing. Like it or not. Forgiveness is not for the next person. And followed by taking the high road. Yes. A lot of us are so quick to want to clap back. I I got it, so I give it to her back. And like it's for a small, like just like some of the things we see on social media. Seriously, there are some things that you don't have to say. They don't even need you to speak. Take the high road. Oh, you're stupid. Take the high road. Don't cause a scene, because there's a proverb that says two people cannot be mad at the same time. Do you understand that? Two people can't be mad at the same time, which means while someone is busy hurling insults at you and you are keeping quiet, does not mean that you are a sissy, does not mean that you are timid. No, it only means that when people are always hearing shots from one side, at a time they're going to look at this person and be like, but I mean, the person you're talking to is not even acknowledged. It's like, are you crazy? Have you gone mad? The person is not even acknowledging you. Stop! You sound stupid. You sound like a crazy person. That's what taking the high road does. Take the high road. It's so much, and it's so classy. Oh my God, it is so classy when you take the high road. I'm telling you, I'm going to teach you some of that. All right? But yeah, take the high road. Seriously, take the high road. You don't always have to clap back. No. You don't always have to. No, you could always just smile and walk on. And lastly, because there isn't much time, is be open-minded. Now, this is very, 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 very important, because we live in a society right now where there's so many things that are happening I don't agree with, you don't agree with, so many people don't agree with it. But we can't all be negative about it. No. But what do? We be open-minded about it. Open-mindedness is accepting people for how you see them, for whom they are. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, but accept it. Be open-minded about it. Have an open heart. That means you're taking this person as a human being. You're not taking this person as another creature because there is a way he thinks or acts or does things that is different from you. We can't all be the same. All right? So being accepting to one another and sharing it, because when you're open-minded, automatically, and love flows within open-mindedness. It's automatic. You're learning to accept people. That is love. You're learning to be with them in whatever way, in whatever form. That is love. Accept their faults. That is love. Okay? So on this note, my dears, and yes, of course, you are all free to give me or pitch in your own ideas, your own points on how to be a beautiful person, because like I said, there are so many ways to be a beautiful person, but I can't say it all, because if I say it all, there'll be nothing left for you guys to say. All right, so feel free, pitch in, tell me, let's exchange, let's talk about it, on how to be a beautiful person. Okay, and of course, if you really like this video, do not fail to like, comment, and of course subscribe. I want to see your comments. Support this video by subscribing, and until my next video, of course, before I forget, you can always follow me on all my social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's all juliettsstyleglam. And yes, get on the blog. Follow me on the blog, because there will be a giveaway very soon, and this giveaway is not a small one. So follow me on the blog and you will be able to be part of this wonderful, great giveaway. And the list of all products used for this video is going to be in the description box below. If you'd like me to do a tutorial on this look, feel free to comment and let me know. All right, and of course, the wig was made by me. I know it's a little bit amateur, but then yes, and I'm very proud of it all the same. But yeah, the wig was made by me, and yeah, that's it. Until my next video, it's bye.